Everyone, it's Zach with Palantir Research. Alex Karp just did a new interview on CNBC and looks like it even pumped the price just a little bit there right when the interview took place. But more seriously, let's cover the interview itself. They start off with a big headline. Their stock has boomed recently and they want to know why. Karp talks about their claim to fame with software that works and building it over the last 20 years from fighting terrorism to AI today. So with the market recognizing the Palantir product actually working and allowing customers to compare to others, it really shows Palantir's value and experience that they can offer with results, even in the most secured classified spaces if you can reference their military work. So companies are starting to recognize this, at least from Alex Karp's perspective. And even in the face of competition, which they bring up, Karp is saying everyone is claiming that LLMs can help your output at a lower cost, but Palantir is actually set apart by showing you versus being told that. Now, Palantir has touted this a lot of times already ahead for folks, and Karp seems to be saying it over and over, that they'll set the standard of getting people actually ahead of their competitors, and even getting specific use cases, of course. Karp picks on Panasonic battery and bringing this production from Japanese manufacturing back to the United States and Nevada. While Palantir supercharges its untrained, inexperienced workforce to get a similar level, or at least catch up to that level of the experienced workers out in Japan. And this is actually similar too to what we saw out in AIP with their mixed reality demo. And another use case too that he brought up really brief was testing a satellite for agriculture and all those factors. But the main point here is that you can't just throw an LLM at that and be at risk at hallucination. Hence the value proposition of Palantir and actually getting this out there. Then also moving on to the subject of boot camps, and she keeps pressing also on their competitive advantage, but Karp keeps hitting on the same point from earlier. They just show the results and value and get customers actually in their hands, not just walking and telling people this. This concept seems kind of foreign to a lot of people for some reason, but it's really a product-focused approach rather than the salesy kind of way and getting into the hands of actual users who can utilize the product effectively, which in the end demonstrates that value. And Karp vitally also says people are recommending their product too when this is brought up. He talks about the C-suite, CIO, sharing their ideas with other companies and of course their friends. So there's no point really saying yourself that you're the best when you can just have others show it and then share that with others. And then they transition onto the battlefield and the Titan contract. Karp heats the talking points that software needs to be a priority for the United States defense, being able to widen the gap, and points out no large software companies anywhere else or other countries is the example. And he brings up that there isn't anyone doing what they're doing today. And the most important part of Titan from Karp's perspective is that they are now a software prime. This acknowledgement shows the priority of the government, and this is as a battlefield ready kind of company, and to become more and more powered by software. But still, it points back to the hardware here and getting back control as a software powered hardware culture for our country. So Karp really brings up this notable rant too against short sellers, and I think a lot of people notice this as well. He literally hates them and just goes on and on about Coke immediately that drives these short sellers. So I'm sure you saw the clips there. Now moving on to the geopolitical events though with Ukraine and Israel. They asked for Karp's view here on what outcomes can happen, and he accurately points out Ukraine is definitely in need of help from the West for their conflict to even survive, versus Israel, let's say it's more of a PR nightmare. Their products are used more widely already, but their issues is more about getting support on the ideological front around the world and getting that backing. Now, he doesn't really bring up anything new in regards to the specific help or these use cases for the conflicts, but they do just focus on the public support here, especially for Israel, and really talks about the culture of Palantir and how they've lost employees due to this mission and support, but that's to be expected, honestly. And then they continue on with their support for the West, but either way, Karp's interview gives more airtime to the masses of what is actually happening at the company and their thoughts around it. Now, there's nothing new per se here if you've been following closely, but it's great to see his energy, and I personally got a laugh at his rant at short sellers and Coke. But what are your thoughts below, and I'll see you in the next video.